Hello everyone, this is Rebecca from Papeterie de Joie, and welcome to Wallpaper Wednesday. I am here with a little project I am calling Wallpaper Button Cards, and so I have made some button cards, used a bobby pin on the back to contain them on the card, and just did a little bit of inking just to age it up a little bit. Put 3 buttons on the little ones and then just 2 buttons on opposite corners of the big ones. I backed them with craft paper, thick cardstock craft paper, and just created some little ephemera. This is the wallpaper that I used. It's just a piece of trim. You can see the images here and here, and so I just cut them down, and for the ones that I'm going to do in this project this evening, I have already cut them and backed them. And this one, I got ahead of myself a few minutes ago and went ahead and chomped the corner, then realized I'm not doing the video yet. So what I will be doing in this video is just creating the button cards. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut the corners, and I'm going to trim this one just a little bit more, and I'm going to try it with scissors. Let's see how accurate that I can be. It's just a little bit off. Not too bad. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do this one with this little bitty, yeah, that'll work, I think. So far I've used a different corner punch on each card, so I might as well keep that theme going, I think. Okay, so there's that one and that one. And for this one, I guess I could do it this way, or use a bigger one. I don't know that I want to do that. I guess I could just round it. Let me get my other punch. Oh, and did you not hear that noise? My husband oiled my chair this afternoon, so it doesn't squeak anymore. Yay. Okay, so I think I'm just going to do the smallest one here. I know that's maybe a little bit boring, but it'll be alright. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just ink the edges slightly, and then I'm going to do just a little bit of what I'm going to call distressing. You can see, like on this one, where I actually just use this. This is just a piece of felt on this stamp, and or blending tool, and just to put a little age on it, so that it at least had a little bit of a more of an antique look. If you ever find buttons at the thrift stores or the antique stores, if it's an old card, it will have some kind of aged marks on it, whether it's watermarks or whatever. Let me so I can, and I'm just going to do some light stamping, and just wherever the felt has a little bit of liquid on it, just leaves a little bit of a, and that's enough really. I'm going to put it just a little bit more around some of the edges, because the edges always get worn most of the time before anything else. But that looks good to me, so I'm going to set that aside and do another one. If I can keep my hands on it. So, I live in South Carolina, and we got a little bit of the wind and rain off of the hurricane that just went through the last couple of days, and evidently it's hit some of the areas pretty hard from what I can gather on the news and things. So it really makes you thankful when, even if you're in the line of fire, so to speak, you have very little damage and other emergency type situations. Now let me just put a few little marks on this one. Just enough to tone it down slightly. There you go. Now most thrift stores will have little rolls of wallpaper. That's where I get most of mine from, is thrift stores, simply because I guess sometimes it's like people clean out their attics or something, or a relative dies and they're just getting rid of stuff, and sometimes you can go into like a thrift store and you can tell that someone's whole house, it seems anyway, has been donated to the thrift store. Okay, so what I am going to do here is I'm going to take this little tiny hole punch and I'm going to put a couple of holes in this corner and a couple of holes in this corner. And I have this green yarn that was sort of on the side of dark olive. It's almost an army green in a way, but I've had it for probably 2 or 3 years, and I think these button cards is the first time I've ever used it, actually. Okay, so if you watched a video I did a few days ago using book page images or dictionary page images, I used some buttons on that to embellish the little cards. So this is going to be almost, well, it will be identical to that, just a different type of card, if I can get it to go through. Some thread is just ornery. That's a word that I grew up with sometimes. Ornery. Aha. Alrighty. And again, this is just a simple make. Doesn't take a lot of time really. and it's something that can be mass made very easily. So let's tie that into a little bow. Surely, is there another name for these? I just tie them like I tie my shoes and put in double knots. Just keeps everything from coming loose. Oh, that was really a poor show. Yeah, I'll redo that one, but I want to finish what I'm doing because my camera doesn't only have, it has a 25-minute video limit, and so I try to sort of hurry, which is not necessarily how I do it all the time. Sometimes when I'm crafting, I like to just let the, just go with the instinct, I guess you could say, color combinations and textures and all such as that. Now, where's that other button? I sewed a lot when my kids were little. I made everything they wore until they were both getting into middle school and high school, and even in high school I still made, well, for my younger daughter anyway, I still made like her Christmas dance dresses and things like that. I made my sister's wedding dress when she got married. Now granted, that was 32 plus years ago, and I was 8 months pregnant at the time with my younger daughter, so that was an experience. But I've always loved to sew. I've been sewing since I was 16, so coming up to 41 years. So I've always loved putting fabrics together to make different things, and I find doing paper projects is not that different than doing sewing projects. That's bugging me, but I'm not going to change it right now. So on this one, on these, I did buttons with shanks. So I am going to find another button with a shank. I've got these two brown ones. I think that would look good. So the ones with the shank, what I did is I used the bigger punch, and I just basically, let's see, just sort of, I went in as far as it would go and just sort of spaced them evenly all the way up like that. And now this was a little bit tricky, but I did it on the other two. Let's see if I can do it on these. The buttons don't have to be all the same. I just like for them to be kind of color coordinated. Pen. Bobby pin. So yeah, I'm using a bobby pin to hold them in. I found bobby pins at the thrift store a good long while back, and I thought, there's got to be a use for these in a junk journal somehow or other, and hadn't really figured out exactly what that was going to be until I started thinking about how am I going to put these shanked buttons on. And I was like, you know what, let's just try it and see if it works. And it worked good enough for me, so I just take my little pliers and twist the end about twice and try to end it up where it's flat, if at all possible. And there it is. And then I snipped a little hole right about halfway, give or take a minute. That looks alright. Another little piece of yarn. And put that through like that. Now, granted, you probably can't write a whole lot on the back of these, but some things in junk journals are meant to be more as decoration and be looked at more than used in that sense. But it doesn't mean that something couldn't be. If you didn't use the bobby pins and you used flat buttons, you could put another cover over it and actually use it to journal on the back side. Now go in through that hole. Quit being so stubborn. Kind of remind me of some family members. Well, this is going to work sooner or later. I think it's got some little bitty fibers poking out that don't want to go through the hole. Oh, come on. What is it they say? Where there's a will, there's a way. Or something along those lines. Okay. I think I doubled them on the other button cards, but right now I'm just thankful to get that through that little thing. Okay, let's even that off a little bit. And so there's another little button card. Now let's see what we can do with this one. Same, oh that's the wrong one. Same concept. Come in all the way, more or less thirding it. I've got this one. That's a flat one. I did have some buttons picked out, but I didn't have any shank buttons picked out for some reason or other. I'm going to try to find one that'll sort of go. Could use that square one, but it's really white. Two light colors. Here we go. I think I found one if I can get it out. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so get my little pin over here. I'm going to start and put this one. I guess I better turn it this way. Oh, Rebecca, come on now. Okay, there's that one. And that one. And this one is a little metal one, but hopefully, yep, that will fit right through there. And then take the pliers, give it a couple of good twists, and there we go. And now let's see how well this works this time around. I think what I should do is just put it right across that hole like that and use this if possible, to poke it through. Looky there. Genius. Should have thought of that a good while back, huh? Alrighty. Now. Okay. So let's move my little trash thing out of the way. Okay, this is the one we just did. I'm going to go back and undo that one. That just that was me being in too much of a hurry when I didn't need to be. Okay. Ta-da! Alright, let's do this again and make it look a little bit better. Okay, we're done. How about that? Okay, so it goes the right way up this way. You can tell by the flowers. So there's the one I had already done, and here's the one I just did. Here's one of the ones that I already done, and one that I just did, and another one that I did already, and the one that I just did. So, if you've got a journal that's floral themed, anything that's old-fashioned, anything that's Victorian, because this is Victorian designs, then this is perfect little pieces of ephemera to just decorate it up and make it special. So, hope you enjoyed that. If you find any wallpaper at a thrift store or anywhere else and want to give it a whirl, just use glue stick is what I used. Back it with some heavy craft paper, or you could use heavy cardstock, either or, and get it adhered good, ink it up, punch you a few holes, and you've got a cute little piece of ephemera. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.